past you look so strong, then you fade away. The sun will blind my eyes, I love you anyway. Thirsty for your smile, I want you for a while. You are a vapor trail in a deep blue sky.
No doubt about it. I've been taking notes all week and like trying to figure this out, like what I was gonna say, but I'm just gonna kind of wing it.
Speak from the heart.
He changed my life for the better so incredibly much. I can't even really express it. I wondered why he hung out with me. He was the coolest dude in school. Everyone wanted to hang out with him. He was pretty. All the girls loved him. And he chose to hang out with me. And I was like, you did. And I'm like, I'm not that dude, right? Like, I appreciate it. Thanks for bringing me along. But one of the things I really remember is we played a lot of one-on-one basketball.
Huh.
He had a hoop in his yard and I had a hoop in my yard, and we would play one-on-one basketball. And he was so much more athletic than I was, but I had the height. So it kind of balanced out and it would work out. We would play even. It was awesome. And I have this one memory that just sticks in my brain forever. And it was me and him. It had to be a Monday because we had ties on. And we were walking from the quad to the parking lot, and we would cut through the gym, of course, because that was the shortcut. And for some reason, there was nobody else in the gym. There was one basketball on the floor. And we walked into the gym, and we both looked at each other. Well, I saw the basketball. I'm sure he saw it too, but he was on my left. The basketball was to our right. And I looked at him, and he looked at me. We didn't say anything. We just both took off for that basketball. And of course he beat me to it. He was way faster than I was. He was a fast dude. That dude was fast, man. And he picked up the basketball. I backed up to the goal between us. I know I had at least one shot. I don't even remember who won the point. We played 1 point. The ball went through the hoop. And we both just continued on our way to the parking lot without saying anything. And we were just laughing at each other. Like, dude, how awesome was that? Like, it was so cool. And I don't know. And he turned me on to so much. Like, he had an NWA tape when we were in 8th grade. Like, I was like, Dad, I need an NWA tape. Like, I didn't even know what it was. But hip hop's still a part of my life today. Like, it's awesome. And punk rock too. I think he was the first person to turn me on to that stuff. I had an older sister, stepsister actually, that turned me on to a lot of new wave and like the alternative scene or whatever. So I vibed with him on that, but he turned me on to a lot more. And I really love that about him. And I mean, I loved everything about the guy, right? Like, who didn't? And after high school, went to Gainesville, and you know, he didn't really like Gainesville, and it wasn't his scene, and it wasn't what he wanted to do, and he went another track, and I backed it. I loved it. I was like, dude, go your own way, do your thing, like, love it, like whatever it is that makes you happy, figure that out. I'm not sure if he figured that out or not. He was such a charismatic person and good looking, and I think a lot of his problems was he was always surrounded by yes men. There was always people that just wanted to be around him. And I know he had millions of acquaintances. I'm not sure how many great friends he had. And I'm so happy that I got to be one of his friends. I really am grateful for that. And then, you know, the years went by. He went to Portland. And we would talk every now and then. And whenever we saw each other, like we're doing today, like we're all doing, like you just pick up where you were, like no time passed at all, right? Of course, every single time. And the next memory I want to share, I was living in Portland, and he called me over one day, and I was like, yeah, man, of course I'll come hang out with you, no problem. He's like, I got something I want to show you. And I was like, okay, that's weird. Like, I don't know what this dude could possibly have to show me. And I was living on a skateboard at the time, and so it wasn't new to me. But I skated over to his house, and I walked into his house, and he had a new Zip Zinger, which I don't know if y'all know. It's a skateboard. It's halfway between a cruiser and a street board. You can still ollie it. You can still do tricks, but it rolls super good, and it's fun. And he's like, check this out. And I was like, okay. At this point, we hadn't skated in 10 years probably or something. And we hung out at his house for a while, went to the store, and then he's like, you want to cruise around? And I was like, sure, I'm down to cruise around. Like, I skate all the time. Like, I'll skate with you again. And we skated. He was living in Northeast and like down low by the river and pretty close in. It's kind of an industrial area. There's a little bit of condos and stuff that he was living in. And man, we skated. We went skating for like 2 hours, and I was a kid again, and he was a kid again, and like, we didn't talk a lot. We just skated around and cruised, and then we finally sat down on a bench by the river and just me and Ben hanging out. Like, we never really went that deep, me and that guy, because I think both of us could go too far down that road if we went that direction. And me and him were about going the other direction, keeping each other up, not bringing each other down. And anyway, that was one of the best memories, is skating around with Ben that night in Portland. And there's so many things I could say and want to talk, but I feel like I'm going too long already. And the last thing I want to say is, the last time I talked to him, I was texting with the woman I really loved, that one, true one or whatever, and we were texting a lot right then. And Ben called, and I was like, hey, I got to take this phone call. And of course she was like, yeah, of course, take your phone call. Like, talk to your boy. And we talked for like 2 hours, and he was feeling a little scared, man. He was like, man, LA's wild. And I was like, I know, man, LA is wild. It's a wild one for sure. And he felt like he was going too fast, maybe just living a little too hard. And I was like, man, just chill out, man. You just got to get that one day, like, order the food you love, like, watch some movies, lay low, like, let it go. And I don't know, we just talked for like 2 hours, and that was the last time I talked to him. And I was really looking forward to seeing that dude again and hanging out with him. And you know, the last time I saw him was at a hotel in LA. His work had put him up. He became incredibly successful, and both of us did bad in high school just because we didn't like it. Like, we didn't want to do it. But then when we chose it on our own, like, school was easy. You know, it was like a really easy thing to do, and he was really successful at school. Of course, he was a brilliant dude. And he wasn't a big reader. He was a video game dude and all that stuff. But like, I think that speaks to how much of a free thinker he was, that like, he didn't need to get it from somewhere else. It was just innate to him, this world, and how he figured it out. And he was just a fucking great dude. I love the guy. Still love him. I know he's here now. I hope I'm doing you right, man. I hope you're getting it, man.
Yeah.
And I'm so glad that the last time I talked to him was, like I said, it was like 2 hours on the phone. But I was really looking forward to seeing him again and hanging out with him again. And I just want to say, Ben, I love you. Barbara, love you too. Thank you so much for giving him to us. And if I don't see him again, then this world is criminal and not, I don't know. I'm not going to say too much. Ben, I love you. I love all y'all here. Thank you for coming.
I want this to be more of like a, like, we're in a living room, we're just hanging out. This is not a stage situation, because otherwise I'm a panic attack. Oh my God. Again, I didn't plan anything, but I want to say, well, first of all, I'm Maria. I'm class of 1992, St. John's Country Day.
We all know.
Yes, we all are. This is Gen X right here. I was Ben was my first boyfriend. Ben was like my first love, which, you know, he was an exceptional boyfriend. But as you all know, he was a very magnetic personality and drew a lot of friends and girls. But he was funny, he was kind, he was warm, he was really creative, an amazing musician, as you all know. He's past us, right? We all got past us at high school. It was fantastic. But I really think of Ben as like this perfect exemplar of Gen X. I do. I feel like he's like the representative of Gen X. He's creative. I mean, all of us, right? And entrepreneurial, independent, open-minded, latchkey as fuck. Yeah, we did whatever we wanted. Our parents were like, go for it, kids. You're on your own. And Ben was really like, he was just an exemplar of that, I feel like. And you know, I have to say, like, the first time I met him, actually the first time we started hanging out was, we used to skip lunch together, and we weren't supposed to go off campus, but we did. We went off campus, and I remember him driving me around in his red Celica. Remember that red Celica? Yeah. Oh yeah, with his baseball hat on backwards and his oversized polo shirt. That was his style, right? Smoking cigarettes, and listening to REM and Led Zeppelin, which he introduced me to. I can't believe that I'm saying that, but I'm going to admit he did introduce me to Led Zeppelin. Black Dog was the first song I ever heard by Led Zeppelin. And after that, we all started like recruiting friends to come off lunch, and we got busted.
The lunch bunch.
Yes, we got busted, and we were called the Lunch Bunch. Do you guys remember the Lunch Bunch?
Is that like
It was
a
in
Mr.
the
Mac?
Lunch
That's
Bunch?
like
Yes.
Mr.
Oh,
Mac.
the
Mac.
greatest moments.
Oh yeah, they did not like that at all. We got into some serious trouble. So we were branded the Lunch Bunch for a while there. Ben was definitely like the head of that. So yeah, that was like my first memory of Ben. But I also have to thank him for bringing me to New Orleans for the first time in my life. He brought me down there when I was in high school still, and we stayed with his aunt in the quarters. And she was horrified that we would get hurt when we get to the quarters, but nothing bad happened. And I actually fell in love with the city and ended up going to college there. So I have to thank Ben for that, because I never would have known New Orleans was a thing until Ben brought me down there. So I have to thank him for that. And I will say, you know, this generation, all of us here, I feel like we're very strong, we're very open-minded, we're very accepting. And I think of Ben as just, again, the example of that. He kind of had all of those qualities, especially accepting. He accepted everybody. He was very, like, he talked to everyone. He didn't have any boundaries in that regard, and I really respected him for that. And I felt like he accepted me at a time in high school when, you know, high school's hard, you guys. We're all rebellious teenagers and we're pissed off at the world, right? We like all bonded on that, and Ben was, you know, just, I loved going to his house and hanging out with his mom, Barb, who was the sweetest angel of a mother, right? I was like, please adopt me. Hung out with Michelle's parents too, hung out with a lot of people. Yeah, Ben, again, just a great all-around person. Very sad of his passing. And I think that he would be so happy that we're all here together. This is exactly what he would have wanted, is some like a celebration. And I know it's a memorial, but I think we should all take pictures, reconnect, you know, support each other as much as we can in our lives right now, because I think that would have been definitely his MO if he was here. He would have been checking in with everybody, finding out the gossip, what's going on with you. Yeah, just very personable guy. So anyway, thank you guys. And I want to thank also Chris and Fran. Where's Fran? Fran, thank you for suggesting this place. This is amazing.
Perfect.
This is beautiful. Like, oh, can't
job,
think of a
Fran.
better place. And Julie, where's Julie? Julie helped out. Yeah.
We did a lot. And Scott Needle.
Thank you, Scott, for doing this. Yeah, Scott did a lot of work for this,
Yeah,
getting
he
the
did,
DJ,
yeah.
Thank you, DJ.
Good.
The music's been amazing, right?
Absolutely.
Are you guys, like,
Yeah.
So
nostalgic?
good.
Yes.
Oh,
So
just go
good.
to Einstein's after this? Right?
Yes, please. Could we?
Where
That
is
would be
that?
amazing.
The swingers night tonight.
Is it? Yeah.
And why?
We're at that age now. We're like, yeah, let's experiment. Okay. Anybody else want to come up and say a few words about Ben?
St. John's today, and
Y'all did?
we did.
Oh, I didn't know
We
that.
did go down there.
It's so
It was-
pretty.
It was open. It was unlocked, and we walked around and marveled at the new buildings and all that, and the ceramic cupcakes that the children had made.
The turd
with the
cupcakes.
poop icing.
They were like turds.
Amazing.
I was like, all right, ceramics.
No, but it was beautiful, and it made me realize like what a beautiful place we
Went to school.
went to school.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because we were bussed in from the west side, and we were lucky.
The best side.
Anyway, yeah. So the west side.
Hoyle Dempsey.
This is about Ben. So yeah, I get in there and Maria sees basketball and she immediately starts like shooting hoops like a wild woman and everything, like going
Point
back
guard.
to her days of shooting the hoops. And
I suck at basketball.
no, you were good.
I
You were
loved
good.
it.
Yeah. So then I remembered, I mean, I was remembering this anyway, but sitting on that stage, like where we had done like senior
plays.
class plays.
Yeah.
It's all
It's closed
boarded
up
up
now.
now. But I remember sitting up there with Maria and Ben was like, we were sitting on the edge of the stage, and Ben just, like, he just was so goofy, like what everybody, you know, what Maria and Scott said about him just being like such an open and like loving
Funny.
and yeah, just hilarious guy. I have two memories of him. So this one was just him. He just got like this unhinged look on his face, and he's like, he tells a joke like out of nowhere. Like we were talking about something else, and he says, her name was homogenized, and she was named after milk.
So random.
God, we just died laughing. Once he even thinking and talking
His brain
about
was like,
it. And he was just endlessly entertaining. And then I just had this other memory, like sometimes I would go over to Ben's house with Maria, and I remember I went over there without Maria one time, and I came in, or no, I was there.
Scandalous.
I don't know what happened. I was there for some innocent reason.
back up.
Yeah, I don't know where you were, but I was in the back of the house, and I came out, and Ben was just like sitting like everything was just like perfect, you know, like there was a little like bar or something, or a table there.
Yeah, he had a bar. There was a bar.
Yeah, there was a little bar there in the middle of the living room, and he had this like plaid, like buttoned up all the way to the neck shirt on, and he was just very calmly, like his hair was like coiffed, and he had this like little bowl of salsa and some chips, and he was like very
You always
carefully,
talk about that.
I don't know, it's like an important memory.
She talks about it all the time. Like, he ate chips and salsa.
Yeah, you would understand. It was just like a moment, like a Hopper painting or something.
Because he had like his little setup.
He was so like intentional about the chips and salsa, and I just thought of like how I just like sit at the TV and I'm like,
Yeah.
and Ben is like sitting up straight.
It's like a
and
ritual.
He's got his salsa, and he's got his chips, and he's like, I'm like, that's so cool.
The things that impressed my sister. Anybody? Thank you, Krishan. Does anybody else have a memory about Ben eating chips and salsa? Or eating anything? Eating burritos?
Basilica, I remember being so cold because for lunch he would want to smoke a cigarette, and we'd go ride around in the Basilica, and the windows would be down, and it would be winter time, and my skinny ass would be freezing like, dude, fuck, I really love you, because I don't want to be in this car right now. Hey, you need a cigarette.
You would sweat in winter.
Sweat.
Ben actually saved me in Riverside one time because I was at Moto and I was stupid and I put my cider down. Yes, I was drinking a cider. Embarrassing now to think about it, but I was.
You were ahead of your
And I got roofied, I think. And Ben got me. I like only had one drink, and I like completely like just was out of it. And he saved me and got me out of there and took me back to Eddie's place, their place in Riverside, and saved me. So
He was really sweet.
yeah,
He's
he was
always
always
looking
looking out. Him and Ray.
Yeah, he had your back, man.
Yeah,
he
he
did.
always
He
did.
always had your back.
Yeah.
On Gale Court?
I also remember monitoring your fights, where both of you would come.
Were you in the middle?
Always in the middle.
Shit.
You guys would
Referee.
both. Yeah.
Fran was in the middle a
Referee
lot
swat's
too. We would get in fights, break up. Someone would date someone else, then we get jealous and get back together.
Like an afro, and the two girls look all nice and pretty, and my son's in the middle. I'm like, what's wrong with you?